Hey y'all, it's the Hershey Kisses.
And Hershey Kisses mom.
Oh, and Hershey Kisses dad.
Yes. So, y'all, we're back with another episode. This is Speak Now
Or Forever Hold Your Peace.
So today's topic is going to be, what's a family without a father?
Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Highlight on you, Pop. But before we start off, first we're going to talk about the problem. And a lot of times, Black dads are given a negative connotation and looked at in a negative light. People are saying that Black dads are deadbeats, that they are not really involved in their families. And we obviously know that this is not true, but this is the stereotypes that we have going on. Even the Black father leaving for milk and never coming back.
Yeah.
That's also a big thing that people are just hearing every day, day in, day out. But there's actually a statistic from the census that says that Black fathers are one of the most involved fathers out of any other race.
That's true.
In their children's lives.
Which means that there's milk in your fridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure your friend's fridge.
Right.
And
Your neighbor's fridge.
And your neighbor's fridge. I was going to say, and I mean, just on our block alone, shout out to the D, because we live in Detroit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But on our block, I mean, I can't think of a household that does not have a Black man that's living in their household.
Protected and provided. And our block is not special. We don't live in some special neighborhood where
Yeah.
Black men are more exceptional than they are in others.
You know what? I'm happy you just said that, because that would have been on our comments.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we're in Detroit. We're in the
west
hood,
side,
on
yeah.
the west side.
Black dads, they step in like for other kids too, and not just their own.
Yeah, I would say our experience, so Jason is my second marriage. The oldest two are from my previous marriage.
The only marriage that counts, though.
And he has stepped in. We actually gave birth to Clear, but he stepped in, and people are like, what? I can't believe that those oldest two are not his. No. But, so that's an example for us. And I mean, when we look at stats, which I say throughout our podcast, you came in, provided, protect for us. And I think that a lot of women come into relationships and they've already given birth to previous children. And I think that whether they have additional children with their boyfriend or husband, 9 times out of 10, he's coming into that relationship and he is providing for that mother and what other children she may have had from previous relationships.
Yeah.
And now switching gears, he is the executive director for a national organization called Greenlight Fund, is bringing in a lot of money for us. We're able to go on
not through
vacations.
That job particularly, but the multi hats that I wear.
Yeah. Yeah. And doing the DEI trainings. Everything that you've got going on.
Yeah.
Taking 6 vacations a year. Also RV trips.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, as you're, working outside of the home and as you are a high valued man, that wasn't where we came from. I mean, we've built this together and, we've, I've been there the entire time, taking care of home, making sure you have what you need and watching you go out into the world and validating you and, being appreciative of what it is that, you're doing for us, for all of us, because it's just not me, I have to give them a piece of my money, but, just at the end of the day, it's
not just you that I'm providing for.
Exactly. It's our entire family. And so I just wanted to say to Clear, hi. And Clear, can you tell us, how about what does Dad do for you at school? Like, what about your friends? What about some of your friends that I know that are in school? What does Dad do? They love Dad, and what does Dad do?
I love my dad because he's basically a businessman and a fun dad at the same time.
Give me my money. That's what Clear said. Aww.
Thank you, Clear, for recognizing that I stand on business.
Standing on business, tough. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, y'all, we have a letter for Karis. So let me just read it out. Hi, this is a note for Karis. You told a story of having to change your prom date because your dad didn't get to meet him and his family ahead of time. I get that he means well, but how do you balance his involvement in your life with your ability to be your own woman and live your best life, especially since dads are typically controlling? How do you feel about that?
I think that last part, dads are typically controlling. That
Like,
sounded
so
a little
iffy, like stereotypical.
negative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even with the first prom date, like even going back to that, the first prom date I was supposed to go with, he actually said that. Like, it seems like your parents are trying to control you. But if y'all seen on Instagram, like, my prom turned out fire. And that was the planning of both my dad and my mom. Yeah. Especially them navigating the whole situation when he wanted to do something that was a little
Yeah.
and
Sexual.
I think that I was gonna say I think that it's this delusional misconception of us as women that we should choose whoever we want to be with, and somehow it's just going to miraculously come together. And us stepping in, especially as being great parents to Karis, Katie, and Clear, but especially Karis in this situation, we know you. Yeah. And I think that your prime experience, it was about you. It was about making this day great for Karis. It wasn't about trying to control you. It's not about controlling you. I'm speaking from a mom standpoint, but I know this is for dads, but not controlling you. I don't he wants to make sure that you have your best experience. He knows you. He wants you to understand men. And I think that this involvement, women want to take as if it's controlling.
Yeah. And also my dad made big moves during that situation. Like, the first time we found out there was like a problem, he was like, I want to speak to the father so we can get this situation figured out. And when that didn't work, he was like, okay, like, we know you shouldn't go to prom with this person.
Yeah.
And so just going in and being able to do that as like my backup, that's essentially what having a father is, because otherwise it would have just been me trying to figure out that entire situation by myself,
protecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So moving past from the prom situation, because I feel like y'all already talked about that a lot, having a benefit of a 2-parent household benefits in a way that 2 people are making money at the same time, even though our mom is more of a stay-at-home type of person. Our dad is really the breadwinner of the family. We talked about this previously in our first podcast episode. We're trying to get away from the prom situation. Arranged marriage or follow your heart. So I kind of want to talk more about this topic. So I would say arranged marriage. And when y'all first hear arranged marriage, you think of, oh, I'm being forced into this marriage by my parents. Specifically, my father is finding this guy for me, and he is making me get married to this person. When really, in all actuality, it's your father looking at your prospects, vetting the family, vetting him in general, and seeing how they fit your personality. They're more in depth with your relationship process instead of it's just you going out into the open, going out into the world and being like, oh, I like them, I like that, I like that. When really it's like, okay, your parents and specifically your father know you better than anybody else, even yourself. So they're going to be able to help you with this process. So.
Yeah.
I do agree with the idea that your parents, and in this case, I have a better understanding of who you are than even you do, because I've had a longer opportunity to observe you. Before you were old enough to observe and understand yourself. And arguably, most people don't really develop a skill around how to observe themselves. Most of us don't have a high degree of self-awareness. But when your parents are watching you, we understand what your triggers are. We know what your previous challenges have been. We know how you've overcome those challenges. We know what we've had to do in order to help you overcome them. So when we're looking at who would be a great potential mate for you, we're thinking about all of those things. And not only that, but also financial stability. We have more life experience and the ability to assess somebody else's economic situation and make determinations about what kind of assets and strengths that they're going to bring forward, not just in your lifetime, but in the lifetime of your children and the children of those children.
Yeah, we're not talking about like the Middle Ages or anything. If y'all think of that when we say arranged marriage, it's not your father just choosing for you, but it is in a certain way. You do still have a say And what it is, it's just a form of collaboration, because at the end of the day, our dads know what's best for us. Our Black dads, like, we gotta bring respect to them. We gotta honor and appreciate our Black dads, especially so that they can keep on doing what they need to do for our families.
I have a friend right now currently that I'm thinking of, seeing what will happen in the future. And my dad in particular has been very involved in that situation that I have with him. Seeing if he's the right fit for me and looking at his family and being like, oh, would you actually want to be with them in the future? And what do they have going on? What can they bring to the table to help build with us and what we already have going on?
I think that's a good thing approach for all families to take.
Yeah, and I think that it's a lot of women out here that should have, asked the advice of their dads and their uncles and their cousins and brothers before they made decisions to move forward with men, as in a relationship.
So, Pops, this question is for you. With all the sacrifices that dads make, like, why do this at all? Like, what's in it for you?
That's a great question. I do think that the job of a dad is self-sacrificial. And to be sure, I get a lot out of it. I mean, I love being with your mom. I love spending time with y'all. Although I work real hard and don't get to spend, admittedly, a lot of time with y'all or enough time with y'all. And when I put that into perspective, the biggest thing is it's not just about me. It's fulfilling and it's satisfying to have a loving family. I have a vision and plans not only for our family. I have a vision for Black America, critical role that Detroit plays. And I think that Black dads have to tap into something that's bigger than our romance and whether we wake up feeling in love with the love of our life. And certainly Crystal is the love of my life. My mom is the love of my life. And I don't know what I would be without her. But on the days that we can't stand each other, I'm also thinking about y'all's future, the future of the children that you're going to create. We always say in our family that it's, what's it about?
The future.
Right. And by the future, we're not just talking about y'all or your kids, but your kids' grandkids. And I have a steady eye toward that. What are people going to say about me and mommy in the next 300 years of a blessed? So what's in it for me, I would say, is legacy, a sense of purpose. That's what it's all for. It's not just about me. And when we talk about a lot in the Black community, generational wealth, and people think that's really about going out and finding a hustle. They're going to do some Airbnbs or they're going to be the next salon owner or something like that. But that's not generational wealth. That's a hustle. And you might be lucky to achieve some semblance of wealth in your own life, but wealth is a numbers game and it takes generations. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I feel like I received from this. The surest way to the path to wealth is home ownership and life insurance, and we doing both over here and then some. So I'm thinking about what the future holds for us. This conversation has been made possible by Southeast Michigan Perinatal Quality Improvement Collaborative, aka SEMPQIC, and Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and United Way of Southeast Michigan. Find more for us on our channels, Black Marriage Movement.
Peace.
Thank you. Peace out, y'all.
Hershey kisses out.